We've also changed how we feed our horses. So if you think about what we used to use horses for, say 50 to 100 years ago, we were using them a lot in agriculture. We're now using the horse a lot more for leisure purposes, and we're also using the horse in sport. And if we think a little bit more about the horse in sport, because we're asking the horse to perform much higher intensity exercise, we have to provide higher energy feeds in its diet. Because if they were to eat the low quality forage that they were designed to eat, this wouldn't be able to meet the energy requirements of a horse working at a higher level. So we've introduced other feedstuffs into the horse's diets, for example, cereal grains such as oats, barley and maize. The other thing we've done is we've introduced meal feeding. So as humans, we're meal eaters. So we've almost imposed that on our horses. It's more convenient for us. But if you look at a horse in its natural environment, it won't fast voluntarily for more than 3 to 4 hours. And if you think about the stabled horse and stabled overnight, they can often go for periods of greater than 4 hours without access to food. And as I said, the horse is designed to eat on a normal, almost continual basis, and it's designed to eat a diet that's high in forage. And it's motivated to do this on a continual basis, to chew, and it needs to chew to satisfy its behavioural needs, but also to maintain gastrointestinal health and integrity as well. And we'll talk a bit more about that later. We've also done meal feeding to control intake to some extent. We want to control intake at times to manage nutrient intakes in horses, so particularly if horses are overweight or if they need to gain weight, we want to have control over their intake. But actually, if you look at horses in their natural environment and you give them unlimited access to food, studies have shown that they will stabilise their appetite to around 2 to 3% of body weight, dry matter. So they will stabilise their intake, but perhaps the problem that we're facing in modern times is it's the nutrient profile of the feeds that they've got available. It means that even with a stabilised intake, they're potentially eating more energy than they require, and that can have health implications for weight gain, which impacts on other diseases, etc. So, what we've done with our feedstuffs is we've included more energy dense feeds, as I said, in the diet. We've done this to try to meet the needs of horses that are working at higher levels. We have introduced what we call concentrate feeds, and we call them concentrates because they're concentrated in either energy or protein. And we've also given horses access to what could be described as improved pastures. So if you think about the pastures that we use now to turn our horses out onto, they typically have what we call higher nutritive value grasses compared to the types of grasses or pastures that horses would naturally have access to in the wild. And this is because these pastures with these higher nutritive value grasses in them have better productivity. The grasses are hardier, so whilst that's good for the pasture management, these pastures can often be too nutritious for our horses. And so this can have health implications. So when horses are not fed in the way that the gastrointestinal tract is designed for, we can see health problems associated with that. So for example, gastric ulceration, hindgut acidosis, azoturia, laminitis and colic. Some of you may be familiar with these terms, some of you might not have heard of them before. Don't worry, because we talk a bit more about these problems later on in the course. And so the outcomes for horses that develop some of these issues are they may have poor performance, there may be irreparable damage, and in some cases horses have to be euthanized because of the severe health issues that have developed because of poor dietary management. So what can we do about this? Well, first of all, we can think about the horse's natural environment, and we can think about the horse's digestive anatomy and physiology, and we can try to feed our horses in a way that enables us to maintain gut health. And we will talk about these feeding strategies as we move through the course. But briefly, we're looking to feed horses diets that are high in fibre and lower in these higher energy feedstuffs, particularly these cereal grains which are high in starch. The other thing is we need to understand their behavioural needs. We need to do this to maintain good welfare. So as I said, horses are motivated to eat on an almost continual basis, and if we don't provide them with access to forage, then they will look to satisfy that behaviour in some other way. And there has been evidence to suggest that the lack of forage provision can lead to the development of stereotypic behaviours, such as crib biting. So what we need to do then is think about having dietary management regimes that avoid these types of problems. And if there have been problems developed, then we need to look at ways of overcoming these diet-related problems. And so what we're going to do now is move on and look at the different sections of the gastrointestinal tract.